Hey YouTubers, I'm back with a little bit more on the Sony A7 Mark II that I've had now for, what is it, 3 weeks, a month maybe? So I thought, as I said, I'm going to do a series of videos on the camera. And I've done this and that. I've done my first impressions video. I've uploaded some video taken with the camera using some manual focus lenses, my Leica R lenses, and I've shot some still photos with those lenses and with the Sony Zeiss 35 millimeter 2.8 autofocus, the kit lens, not a kit lens, but it goes, it's an E-series lens or E-mount lens. I've shot all of these lenses and I've shot some Minolta glass, but I've pretty much focused on the Leica lenses because I'm so excited to be able to shoot this R glass on a digital camera. All that said, I wanted to just talk some about newer impressions, further impressions, or however you want to put it. So that's what this video is about. I've taken a few notes here, and I'm sorry if I look like I'm reading. I need to look at them, or otherwise I won't know what to talk about. Here we go. First off, the image quality. I'm very satisfied with it. Admittedly, I've only been shooting JPEG thus far, and JPEG looks really good. The files are pretty malleable, even JPEG files, in my experience. I haven't done any prints or anything yet, but I'm happy with that. I'll shoot RAW. I generally shoot RAW when I'm shooting seriously. Um, with this camera, I just decided to start with JPEG and see how it does in JPEG mode, what the pictures out of the camera look like. So image quality really good. The 35 2.8, that's the Sony Zeiss lens. That's a really good performer. That's a really, really sharp lens, even wide open. I think I'll do just a separate video on that. I've taken some shots around my work. Again, nothing all that artsy, but just this and that to try to show the envelope of the lens. I'm happy with that lens. The adapted A-mount lenses also work well. The adapter is clunky and it adds to the size of the camera, but it is basically like shooting my A900 with an A-mount lens on it. So similar performance, and the quality is good. Minolta glass has really nice color, and I've been happy with the lenses that I have adapted to the body, the Minolta lenses. All right, so I've mostly focused, see what I did there, on shooting my R lenses though. So I'll get a bit more into that in a few minutes. Again, in terms of image quality, I've taken a lot of shots inside, and for my purposes, 6400 ISO, which I guess is the top normal ISO for the camera. It looks pretty good if you don't pixel peep, and again, I'm shooting JPEG. And so I'm satisfied with that. That's one thing I wanted to get out of a new camera is a higher ISO, and it's not crazy like some of the Canons and Nikons can do, but it's certainly much better than what my A900 could do comfortably. I think my A900 kind of topped out in terms of quality I could live with at around 800, so I'm getting a couple more stops out of the A7. So that's all good. Now, to some degree, the honeymoon is over. There was never really a honeymoon. I'm generally kind of rational about things, but when a camera's new, you're like, oh, look at this, look at that, oh, this is neat. And there is still a lot of that, but there's definitely that honeymoon period, such as it was, is over with. And so there are some letdowns and some trade-offs that I've noticed, and I thought I would share them with you. And again, I'm not expert with this camera. I have read through the user's guide quite a bit. I'm sure I've missed some things, so if I say something and you go, oh, all you have to do is X, well, then just make a comment without going, oh. That's all I ask. So let's get into the letdowns. One thing, usability. I've noticed, and it seems to be when I'm outside shooting as opposed to inside just fooling around with the camera, the menu button doesn't bring up the menu sometimes, or it does, and the menu goes away as soon as I start trying to interact with the menu. or I move around a little bit and I'm just getting to the setting I want to set and the menu goes away. I don't know what's up with that. I really don't. And as I said, it seems to be when I'm outside with it. So I don't know if something about the eye detection is catching it and turning the menu off, but it's just turning the menu off. It's not turning the display off, the rear display. So I've noticed that now 2 or 3 times, and I was just shooting today. I shot some still photos with the 50 millimeter Summicron, and I was trying to make an adjustment, and it just I had a hard time getting to the menu item I wanted to change. Further, the Finder and the screen have been, in my opinion, pretty disappointing. I thought that this technology would have come a lot further in terms of rejecting external light. So like the video that I shot of the Porsches, that was in the morning, and there was slanting, strong light. And if I had that viewfinder turned the wrong direction, forget it. Just couldn't see really what was inside, or it was sort of distorted. What I've ended up doing is turning the viewfinder up to full brightness, and I'm going to do the same, haven't done it yet, with the rear display. And I think the rear display actually has a sunny conditions switch, and I'll try that too. But the viewfinder I've got turned all the way up. It's almost like I want a big fat eye cup when the sun is coming in at an angle. So that's a little bit of a bummer. Other than that, the quality of it is good. It's not as big a jump over the A55 that I had as I thought it might be, but it's a nice EVF as those things go. They're only going to improve. There's distortion in the Finder unless your eye's perfectly centered, and I mean perfectly. Not a big deal. It's just one of those things where you're like, dang man, this camera costs $1,700. Couldn't they have given you a little more eye relief in terms of being off center? No, I guess they couldn't have. So just keep that in mind. If you're using the Finder, you got to have your eye perfectly centered, or it'll look out of focus on the edges. Focus peaking, man, I want to love it, but I can't. It's extremely misleading unless you're using a longer lens and you're wide open. So today I took a few shots. Again, this is a learning experience. Yes, I'm stopping down. I'm stopping down pretty severely. Focus peaking shows just about everything surrounded in yellow, which is the color I have set right now. So I figure, all right, I'm stopped way down. Everything's basically yellow, which is kind of annoying. You can't see your image anymore. So I must be in focus. Take the shot, move on. Get back and review the photos, and not so much. So I guess really, and it's not surprising, but it's sort of like you have to keep in the back of your mind, focus peaking is really only going to work reliably at wider open apertures that have shallower depth of field. If you have deep depth of field, everything in terms of the focus peaking starts to look like it's in focus, even if it's not in critical focus. So, as I said, I got a lot of landscape shots that have out of focus infinities. So, a little disappointed with that. And it's not super fast to turn on and off the peaking. So, what I'm finding is I'm having to use my judgment, or I'm going to have to learn to use my judgment. And when I've stopped down at all, I'm going to have to use the focus magnification. Magnification is a great feature. The problem is, while it's enabled, obviously, you can't see your composition anymore. So focus peaking gives you can see the composition and hopefully whether you have the right focus, but you may not have the right focus. And focus magnification, you're going to nail focus absolutely, but then you lose your composition. Obviously, you can switch back and check your composition again. It's just kind of disorienting. So it's just not so sure about this stuff. But I mean, I'm able to mount and use older manual focus amazing lenses on this camera, so I'm happy about that. And I'll just say now, these are first world problems, folks. I realize that I'm I'm complaining about a brand new digital camera that's truly amazing, but I feel like it's only fair to point out the things that have bitten me and that are frustrating me a bit. Moving on, there's some trade-offs. And again, this is totally first world issue. The adapters for SLR lenses are, they're bulky. And come on in, Pete. They're bulky. And okay, you can't blame the adapter. It has to be this way. The way the adapter works is, here's where the sensor is in the body. And the adapter has to put the lens mount at the correct distance from the sensor location or the sensor plane that the manual focus lens used to have when it was mounted to the appropriate SLR body. So for example, on this R lens, the adapter has to be big enough to push the lens far away enough that it matches the film to lens mount distance that was on the R camera. So, I mean, it has to be that way, but that makes this little tiny camera bulky all of a sudden. So, okay, I can accept that. When the camera is without the grip, it makes it a little hard to control. These lenses are not light. So without your, fourth finger on the camera, especially with the 90mm R lens, it's not the most comfortable thing to interact with. So I got this battery grip. It's great. I really like it. It duplicates the controls so that you can shoot portrait. It's got the shape of it is great. The camera is super, super comfortable to hold with the grip on. However, now it's not such a small camera anymore, is it? It becomes kind of a midi camera. It's not mini. It's not all that small. It's not as big as the A900. Let me grab that guy, obviously. See if I can hold them together. So yeah, it's smaller, but it's not really appreciably smaller when you try to put it in a camera bag. Here it is with the Leica R8, and let's do that. And I know I'm probably not holding these perfectly, but you get the idea. Again, I'm totally whining here, but this is what I've noticed. So as soon as you want to start using adapted lenses, basically this is my general comment. When you want to use adapted lenses, unless they're M lenses like rangefinder lenses, just be ready for your camera to suddenly get bulky, relatively speaking. So what I found is I can't put this camera set up this way into my Domkey F10, which is a bag that I like a lot. It just doesn't fit. So I have to go to a next bigger bag, and my only next bigger bag is my Think Tank Retro 7, and it's a little too small for that bag. So that bag seems huge with this smaller camera in it. So it's like, do I need another bag, or what am I going to do about this exactly? Maybe stop shooting adapted lenses. It's that kind of thing. Again, not a major issue. I'm keeping this in scale. I just want you to know my experiences. So I am toying with another style of bag. I may also try it with my Hadley Pro, my Billingham, because the R9 with that 50 on it worked out okay in the Hadley Pro, but when I try the Sony in it, it doesn't seem to fit as well. I think it's because of the way the viewfinder sticks out the back. It's not really flat across the back. So like I said, I want to be fair and I want people to know what the trade-offs are. And that's why I'm going into this minutia and whining about things that seem, relatively minor. Aside from all the whining, good stuff. I'm having a good time with the camera. The video, I've enjoyed shooting some video with it with the manual focus lenses, and that's turning out well. Video quality, in my opinion, is phenomenal. I've uploaded one sort of, can't remember which one it was, but one of my videos where I show up on screen, one of the high def ones was done with this camera, and it looks amazing. You need appropriate lighting as usual, but it really looks great. So I'm now sort of rambling, so I'm going to cut it off here. Thanks for watching. I plan to do some more videos. I want to do one just on shooting Leica R lenses on the A7 Mark II. I may do another one on shooting A-mount lenses on the camera. And I want to do another one on the 35 2.8, which is the only native lens I have, an E-mount lens. And it'll just take me a little while to do each of these things. So thanks for sticking with me while I slowly dole out these videos. I will catch you later.